Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Muti and you're watching XOXO Muti. Why was that funny?
Sorry, I don't do all this.
Oh, so you don't watch me?
Oh, my bad.
You haven't even watched like one video?
I watched the clip you posted of Amanda.
A clip? It wasn't even on YouTube.
Oh,
Are you
YouTube.
subscribed to my channel?
I really don't use YouTube like that. I will. It's okay. After this, I'll.
I mean, at least subscribe because you know me.
I got you. I really don't use YouTube. I'll subscribe. So I know
These guests are very, very interesting, y'all. The guests I've been bringing on this show are not even supporters, for real. Side eye.
Relax.
I'm really, really excited for today's Ramadan talk show. We're currently on episode number 3. So y'all can see we do have a change in guests here. We do have a male. We do have a male sitting here today on this show. So I'm gonna go ahead and introduce
Nurdeen.
Nurudeen is a very old friend of mine. I guess you can call us friends. We weren't really friends. I just kind of knew you.
We were around each other. That's all.
That's it. But of course, life happens, and life is very, very crazy. But we ended up reconnecting again in our older years, and I just felt like he would be the great person to bring on the show today for today's topic.
You're right.
All right, let's get into it. So the topic for today is men and mental health. How you feel about that topic?
I love it. It's exactly what we need nowadays. I think it's really important for men to know it's okay to take care of yourself, especially if you're taking care of others. You have all this responsibility. Take care of yourself. Last week I got a pedicure. It was over here, the Onyx nail bar, right over here on Harlem or whatever. I was like, let me just, I had a Saturday free. I haven't had a Saturday free in so long. I was like, let me go wash my car, get a pedicure, relax, clean my apartment, just clean my space a little.
I love that. Oh my God, I love that. I feel like I know a lot of men have this mindset as their provider. They always feel like they have to like stand tall. They cannot. People see getting your nails done and things like that, taking care of yourself as something like, oh, you're doing that? Ew, that's kind of weird. You get a massage, question mark. But it's kind of like you're human too. Aside from gender, aside from sex, you're human. And these are literally basic human needs. Like your toes be having all these what do they call them?
Cuticles. Your cuticles.
Is it cubicle? It's not cubicle.
T, not B.
Cuticles.
Cuticle.
Your toes, like we're human. Those things are meant to happen. So I'm glad you brought that point up. So guys, get yourself a mani, a pedi, whatever.
Yeah.
So one of the things I want to talk about and mental health. When you think of the word mental health, what comes to mind?
That's a good question. I guess you never actually think about it. You just think about it as like actions, right? What do you do to make sure you're okay, right? You had a stressful day at work, or something happened, maybe you got, what are you doing for yourself to make sure you are okay with everything that's going on in your personal life, outside your personal life, in general, just making sure that you're feeling okay and happy.
So I like that you brought that point. However, I think I see a little different. I think when I hear the word mental health, I think of like depression. I think of like anxiety.
Okay.
I mean, I think that's just kind of the definition society has put to it. So when I think of mental health, I think about all those things. I think about how a lot of men kind of have to figure these things out by themselves in silence. There are a lot of people that we know, even celebrities, overdose because of depression. And you would think money is everything. They are rich people. And I know sometimes we think if I had money, I'd be okay. Yes, that's a factor of being okay. But deep down, being okay is way more than that. So to kind of ask you, have you ever felt like you have experienced a time where you felt alone or anxious or anything like that?
Yeah, I'll definitely say like it's a good thing you brought that up because I wasn't even going in that space. But definitely when I moved into my apartment, last July. So it was definitely something that like, when you're in college, it's a lot easier, or like most of your life you're in school. So it's easy to make friends, right? That's true. Because you see them every day. In college is basically you're living with your friends, right? On just one big campus. You can like, hey, after class, let's hang out, right? Once you're gone out of college, it's a lot harder to maintain those relationships, especially with your friends now that everybody is either working in a different state or, you know, adults, you busy schedules, things don't work.
That's so true.
So me moving to my apartment is kind of like, now you kind of have to, I was like, wow, I have to make, you know, an actual effort to start to build my community from the scratch and, you know, find people. And just kind of like you, I hopped on Bumble. You know, I hopped on Bumble.
We put him on. Amanda, we put him on.
No. I got it on first. I told her about that.
Oh, really?
Or maybe I did. I don't know.
You didn't.
It's okay, Sal.
Because you just moved not too long ago.
But I got on Bumble, like, you know, to like, you know, find guy friends to like just hang out with. Not a lot. I don't need that many friends, but just like people to like at least talk to. Because now like you have to make that extra effort. So that's something I was like, yes, it's nice to live alone, have that freedom, but you just like, wow, outside of work, I don't do anything. Even now, I really don't. I'll get off of work, pick up my brother, you know, go to my parents' house, and then come back home. It's me. So making sure, like, you know, you have those times, like you have people you can reach out to, like, hey, even if you're just bored, you just want to not stay in your house, especially COVID. Before COVID, like, I think a lot of people that up the ante for a lot of people made them a lot more, you know, susceptible to just being lonely. So making sure you have those people you can reach out to and just call, FaceTime. Even being on FaceTime with somebody makes you feel a lot less alone. Yeah. Even if you're living alone, you'll talk less of just actually going out of your apartment. So
that's true.
That's something I try to do for myself because I was like, I don't want to, you know, be alone. Right.
I like that. I don't like being alone either. So that's definitely something I would do. So to kind of follow up with everything that you just talked about, when you were experiencing those hard moments and difficult times, did you feel like you had someone to talk to about the challenges you were facing of like moving and the emotions and the feelings of like, you know, it's a challenge for you. Like it was a challenge to have to go out and actually do these things, even though you just took a huge step and moved out. Do you feel like you had people to talk about those things with?
I feel like I'm very open, so I do talk about it with Amanda, and like, you know, I'll say like, you know, oh, what's going on with me. But for the most part, me by myself, I'm gonna handle it. I'll do it. I think that's a aspect of being a man, yes. A Nigerian man, firstborn son.
Wow.
So just all the struggles, but also just the hyper independence that comes with being a Nigerian child, right? When you have your parents, it's kind of like,
what are you depressed about? You don't got no kids?
Yes. So stuff like that, where like, you're just like, you know what? I'm gonna handle it on my own, because they don't have the emotional intelligence to handle stuff like that, right? Which is sad for them because they needed it too.
Yeah.
But they don't have it to help us. So I'm just like, you know what? I got it. So from a young age, it's kind of like, I'm kind of my own confidant. I talk to myself. If I have an issue, I'll talk about it. I don't have any problem talking about it, but very rarely do I ever let it get to a point where like I need to talk about it. Yes, that makes sense.
But you see, I feel like you feel that way. I don't know what you really feel, but I feel like you feel that way because that's what you grew up to feel. Like you probably will never have to talk about it. Because in reality, even me, something as little, I can literally talk to 3 different friends. Just because like I know it's an open space. I know we give ourselves that space to talk about something little. But for men, it's kind of like you say less and do more type thing.
I get that sentiment. For me specifically, it's kind of like I don't let it get to a place where I have to talk about it, or you know, like not a lot gets to me. Like Amanda always say, kind of like I don't really get upset very often. For me, I like to be in my happy place. I don't like things that take me out of my happy place, right? If I want to be happy, I need to, you know, allow my friends, the people around me, that are going to help me continue to be happy, right? I don't really, if something bad happens, it is what it is. I can't control it. I'm gonna let it, you know, move on. If I need to talk about it, I'll talk about it, and it's gone, right? But you know, not to say like I don't process my emotions, or I don't feel like, oh, I can't talk about it. I do it, but it's something that if I don't need to talk about it, I don't need to talk about it. It's not like a big deal. As long as it doesn't mess my day up, I'm fine.
Yeah, when it starts to affect you, then you're like, okay, let's dissect what is really going on. Okay, interesting. So I have another question for you. So I know you mentioned you experienced some challenges when you moved. So how about in college? Did you experience some challenges in terms of like emotions, in terms of like feelings of loneliness, social anxiety? I know I had that. I'm just like, where do I fit in? I mean, it's different for me because, you know, my representation is literally in my face. Like, you know, I'm Muslim just by looking at me. So I knew that was a huge thing, trying to fit in and things like that. So kind of how was college for you in that sense?
So I went to UT Dallas, which is not the biggest Black population, But I was thankfully able to find, my group of people. But that's not to say it wasn't hard. I definitely, some Friday nights when people are going out club, people, I'm like, it's okay. I'll be in my room. But like, then you're just like, okay, everybody's out, for the whole weekend. It's just kind of, what do I do? But that's where, like, take the extra steps to, join the clubs, right? Like I was in ASA. I worked on campus as well, so I had my friends from there. I was in rugby, so I did that. So it's kind of like having different groups of people where you can, if one group is busy or doing something you're not really feeling, you make sure like, okay, I got my other friends. But so sometimes it just doesn't work out. Everybody's just busy and you just, you're alone. But that's where like the self-care comes in, the mental health aspect where you're like, okay, I myself am enough to keep myself company. I think that's a really big thing. A lot of people don't like to be alone. Being alone is different from being lonely.
Okay.
Right? Like I like being alone. Okay. I like myself. I work from home. 9 times out of 10, I'm hanging out with myself all day. So being able to enjoy my own company, be able to find things that I can enjoy alone while I watch a movie, play a game, whatever it may be, where it allows me to be like, okay, everybody's busy, things are just, I don't have plans, but I'm here. So I'm good. As long as I have me, I'm all right.
That's good. And I like how you keep like directing everything back to self-care. Like, are y'all catching on? Self-care is really, really important. I think if you find something that works for you, stick with it.
Yeah.
If going to the gym is what you use to kind of like, turn off the world from your life, do it. Don't let what anybody think. What am I trying to say? Don't let what anybody say get to you. I know some people go to the gym to actually like, lose weight, but some people really go to the gym because that's literally what helps them. So I like that you keep bringing up self-care because it's huge. I feel like a lot of men don't have self-care.
That's definitely true. The gym part saved me during COVID just because like being able to at least go out after work for those 2 hours, work out, be around people. Even if I didn't talk to people, be around people other than my family and just be like, okay, there's other people that exist outside of my house. Cool. And then come back, reset a little bit. So it kind of helped you stay a bit, stable after like, months indoors. So.
Okay. So now I'm kind of interested. So you said you're okay with being alone, but you're not lonely. So we want to use COVID as an example. You were going out to the gym to be around people. Wouldn't that be you didn't want to be alone anymore, or like how did that happen?
Well, I guess that's a kind of a special situation, right? Because it was COVID. Like it's kind of like it's different when you have a choice, right?
Okay.
I feel like being lonely is you don't have a choice, right? Because you just don't have anybody to interact with. Being alone is like you chose to be alone, right? So
do you really choose to be alone?
You choose to be alone. Some people, I love my personal time. I love myself. I'm like my own best friend. Okay. So for me, it's like, like I love having people around. I'm very extroverted. I love, talking, being in front of people, but I also like me time because, I'm me. I just like myself. I like my own space, and definitely living alone has, grown that feeling a lot more too, right? With the good is the bad, right? Like I love being able to come home after an event. Like I go to my parents' house and then I'll be like, all right, I'm gone. So I can leave whenever I want and come back and be like, me, nobody here, don't have to take care of anybody else, wash my dishes, do my laundry, clean my space. And it's just, chill on my couch, lay in bed and just relax, right?
I love that. So, I love that for you. That's great. I'm happy to hear that. That's nice. So based on our conversations that we've been having, I do see that you do have a lot of self-confidence. Yeah. So how did you get that? Like how, tell me a little bit about that. I'm kind of curious.
That was hard earned, right? That was definitely hard earned. I think it was maybe around like middle school. High school definitely was when I blossomed. Middle school and before, like elementary, was definitely tough. I was definitely a, quieter, nerdy, always in my books.
Yeah, you were a teacher's pet.
Yeah, I was very tiny kid. And then it was back in the early 2000s where being African was not cool.
Oh,
right?
That's true. That is so true.
I came here in 2004, right? So I was 6. So that's very early 2000s, right? So having an accent, being dark, like being African, it was not a good time, right? And I would cry. I would cry a lot in school, like to the point where like they would call my dad several times.
Really?
Yeah, like they would like my dad had to come to school a lot, like getting bullied, things like that, where it was like, it was not a good time to be African in that time, right? all the so all the name calling, all the stuff, right? You definitely, and then being just a young kid, right, and not having an outlet. Those days mental health also wasn't that big a thing either, so you didn't really get those outlets to talk about it. And it's kind of I think it came from like I don't know, I think I just got tired of it at one point. I was like, I'm not trying to feel like this. But thankfully I never got to the point where it's like, oh, I feel bad about being African, because a lot of people, they got teased in there, so they kind of shut out their Africanness, embrace more African American culture. But I was like, it's not my fault I'm African. That's not my problem. I don't get why you're upset at me. So, I never stopped being African. And I think that also helped. Right? I never blame myself for being bullied or being put down. So I think that was something that helped, because I was like, whatever, I'm just going to do me. I think, and then high school really helped, because it was a smaller high school. And I went to Kerr High School in A-Leaf, right? So it was about 800 kids the entire school, 9 to 12, right? So being around people who were also a bit more open, a bit more, accepting. It wasn't like a big high school where you have all the different factions and people who could bring you down. I think that was a really good helping point. It just allowed me to, blossom. I started working out, hit puberty. You kind of started to feel a little bit about yourself. So that was a really good time.
That's amazing to hear, and I'm glad that you said you didn't beat yourself up for something you cannot control. I think that's something that we all do, and I know that's something I do. Beating myself up for something I can control. Like, girl, you cannot control that you have big feet. Why are you mad you have big feet? Because understandably, everybody's laughing at you, but I can't control that. So I think that's that's like something to start with, especially nowadays. Well, especially like back then and being bullied and things like that. People used to make you feel bad for something you had no control of. How you make me feel bad for having unibrow? Like, make it make sense. And I never really thought towards that direction. I think if I thought of that would have saved me a lot. But at the same time, I'm glad I may have beaten myself up emotionally, but I never did it physically. Like, I never, what's the word? When you like, not surrender, but when you like rebel. I never rebelled against what I believed in or like my action, because I knew I wasn't going to do that, but emotionally I would cry and I'd just be sad and things like that. So take note, guys, that is something important. Don't beat yourself up for something you cannot control, period.
Right?
Okay?
And now we're the best.
Period. Exactly. Everybody want to be Jumoke and Bukola. Call me KG. Don't call me Amanda. Well, let me not use that for example. Call me KG. Don't call me Lucy or whatever. I kind of want to know, in like your friendship relationship, do you feel like you're able to express yourself? Like, for example, if one of your homeboys make you upset, you feel like you can call him and be like, yo, bro, I ain't gonna lie. What you did last week wasn't really cool. It kind of made me feel some type of way because this. Do you feel like you're able to do that in your friendship relationships?
I feel like I am, but the thing is, I surround myself with friends who don't upset me. How? Right? I don't know. Like, I that's true. I mean, I have friends like, if I do something, call me out. We talk about it. We're all adults, and that's really all it is. So but most 9 times out of 10, we're not really doing anything that's gonna bring us to be upset at each other, right? It's usually just all love. We either just call or game or whatever. So it's nothing crazy. Well, I don't know, but I don't think if it comes up, I think I do have that opportunity to.
I think a lot of women now were able to do that, but back then people are so non-confrontational. Like, you cannot be able to express yourself. You cannot be able to tell someone, hey, you did this, that made me upset back then. But now I can do it comfortably, and my friends know they can do it comfortably too, and I would not take it personal, because I feel like it helps with our bond. Like, at this point, my friends that I have, you're here to stay. You can't go nowhere. Like, I'm not starting all over again. I don't want to know your favorite color. I don't want to know anything else. So you really can't go nowhere. So we don't have no choice but to figure it out. Or we get into some fight, we get into some disagreement, we're gonna figure it out. We keep pushing, because no new friends.
No new friends. Okay, Drake.
JK. New friends, but y'all not leaving. That's what it is. I think what I took from you today that I did not know about you is you're self-confident. I'm not even gonna lie.
Oh, yeah.
So do you have an advice for anyone out there struggling with confidence?
Ooh. I think it starts from within, right? Look good, feel good, right? I will plug it. I do have a skincare routine, right? Take care of yourself. I'll plug it, right? Oil cleansing, facial wash, take care of your hair, take care of your beard,
love that. Oh my
right?
God.
Moisturize, exfoliate, all of it, right? I put Amanda on to a lot of folks. You can't show her this part.
She'll deny it. Credit.
She'll deny it, but it's true, right? And now she loves it, right? So, you take care of yourself and then find stuff that you like to do because you like to do. I think nowadays a lot of people, we're trying to monetize having hobbies, right? Oh, have a hobby, have a side hustle, and then make it, make money from it, right? Generate some income. But do something genuinely for you, right? Be able to just enjoy, again, being alone when everybody else is busy, things gonna, not gonna go your way. Have something that you can do alone that brings you peace, right? And just keep reminding yourself it's okay, allow yourself to make mistakes, allow yourself to mess up, get back up, move forward, and have people in your life. Be very, I think, like I said, have your standards and stick to them, right? Friendship-wise, relationship-wise, whatever it is, have your standards, have people around you who are going to support you, who are going to, emotionally uplift you, right? So things like that nature. Confidence it comes over time, and it's not like, you're gonna have confidence 100% of the time, right? I still get nervous. I still, at work or whatever it is, but knowing that it's not the end of the world. You get upset, you get nervous, you get scared. Allow yourself to be that, feel it, and then let it go and keep pushing forward.
I love that. That's amazing. And just out of curiosity, do you select your friends? When I say select, like, are you selective of like your friends when you hang around people like, I don't really think he'd be good for me? Are you selective about your friends?
I think I'm just very lucky that the people I decided to be friends with worked out. I honestly think I'm very lucky in my life. I'm very blessed that I just found people who vibe with me. But I think it's also like, when you're talking to somebody, like let's say on Bumble, right? When you meet those people, having that initial conversation, like, oh, okay, this is somebody that kind of matches my vibe, right? Like any type of relationship, platonic or otherwise. And that is something that kind of, leads you to be more and more into friends. So as long as, the more you build, the more you have this conversation, you can see like, okay, we're connecting more, we have the same mindset. I have a friend that, I golf with. I never golfed before, but he loves golfing. And I was like, okay, I'll come with you, shoot some of the balls. It's not something I would do on my own, but I've always wanted to do, and it's nice to have different types of friends, and it's like, try different new things. But I've just been lucky. My friends are really, really great, really helpful, and really supportive.
That's good.
Right.
Did you enjoy the talk show?
I did. This is nice. This is my first time being,
it's your first time.
Cool. I watched this one, Sha, don't worry.
It's your first time with anything YouTube related, by the way. But I really enjoyed this. I feel like a lot of people would be able to have a lot of things to learn from this conversation.
Yeah.
Because I think people, number one, don't tie self-care into mental health. People don't tie how self-confidence can even help with your mental health and things like that. Like, you made some really, really great point that I think would really help someone, even me. Like, I'm about to take note of some of the things that you said. Like, do things because you want to. I don't think I have something that I say, this is what I do because I want to.
Yeah.
So I think that's really important. Like, if all else go wrong, at least every Sunday you getting your toes done no matter what.
Honestly, and I think it's, it's being blessed enough to be able to afford that. And like you said, I think you mentioned earlier, massages. I get massages every once in a while too. And it's like, look, I need it. My back is tired. Treating yourself every once in a while. You might not have the budget to do it every Sunday, but doing it, every once in a while, so you have something to look forward to, and then just, being able to. Maybe you just enjoy being alone, right? And you're being alone. You might not have anything to do. Sometimes I just lay in bed and just scroll. Allow yourself to be lazy. You don't have to always be productive. I think that's the biggest thing. You don't have to always be productive. This world is not always grag out, hustle. It's just relax, right? Let yourself you need it. We need to reset, relax, scroll, watch a movie, just lay in bed and just, stare at the ceiling if you want to. Just whatever you need to mentally escape for a little bit.
I love that. My husband got a lot to learn from you, by the way. Because I love that mindset. I just love it. I'm the type of person that is work hard, but also play hard too. Like, what's all this work? Give yourself some time to relax and, enjoy what you're working for. Some people don't even enjoy their money.
Oh, yeah. No,
so
I'm gonna spend my money.
I stand, y'all should have been taking notes from the beginning. If I knew you were about to be dropping stuff like that, I would have said, bring your notebook and your pen, because we're dropping gems over here. I really, really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you so much for joining us on our Ramadan talk show. Oh my gosh, guys, if y'all have any advice, if y'all have any brothers, younger ones especially, that can probably learn from this, of course, number one, let them watch this video. Number two, feel free to comment down below. Maybe if Nurdeen sees it, if he watches the video, I don't know, maybe he'll respond.
I would love to. I always love talking about mental health and being better, especially for men. You know, like you mentioned, I have my younger brother. He's definitely being molded in my image. I feel being a lot more confident and being a lot more, you know, aware of his emotional state, right? Letting him have that, you know, be able to cry, be able to express himself to me, right? Hugging him, show men physical love, right? And there's also saying, like, you know, sometimes the first day a man gets flowers is on his funeral, right?
Oh, that's so true.
And so, you know, give your men their flowers, I would say.
I love that. Amen. Amen to that. That's if y'all enjoyed the video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Y'all know how I'm having. I'm seeing you next week in video. This is the part we go, period. 1, 2, 3. Period.